Good evening, ladies and gents. Welcome to another scene for Living World of Darkness, Mage from the Ashes. In this scene, slightly paradoxically, Nausicaa has basically looked around the chantry for someone that's free and asked them for and asked them to come out with her. At which Nausicaa has basically dragged them to the Museum of Natural History, where they are showing. Actually, no, it'll be the Smithsonian. Where they essentially have an exhibition on newly uncovered ancient Greek archaeological stuff. And that is where the scene will start. Nausicaa is walking from basically through the exhibition, and with a spring in her step and a lightness to her touch that is quite uncommon.
Slightly perplexed and confused Julie, who now less confused, left the chantry with a very anxious almost Nausicaa, not really knowing exactly why they were leaving and what was happening, but as soon as she sees the topic of this exhibit, she begins to put. Well, she understands completely why Nausicaa wanted to go here. And Julie is, actually she's not as confused but absent-minded and just lazy as normal. She actually does seem to take in many of the things on the display at the Smithsonian. Especially in the present exhibition. She seems to be looking at it. Seems to actually take interest in it.
Nausicaa is, there is one exhibition in particular she seems to be salivating over, which is a Sumerian inscription on a piece of stone that they believe to be part of Homer's Iliad. And yeah, she just seems to be like she's like almost bouncing by the time she reaches it. Like this level of like emotional display is uncommon at best for Nausicaa. I read about this in the World Archaeological Journal.
Oh, okay.
They're not sure, but it seems that this may be an unfound piece of the Iliad.
That's good. So, you seem to be really I understand why you're passionate about this, but I mean, you have quite a few things to see to, but this seems to take precedence.
She cocks her head. In what way? You think I'm being frivolous?
No, that's not what I said. It's just unusual to see you this passionate about, not, computers.
I wouldn't say I'm particularly passionate about computers in themselves. They're a useful tool. This, however, my dad used to read me these stories as a child.
She smiles and she says, "I remember."
Oh, yes. Well, then you understand.
Yeah, I totally do. It's just good to see you that you'll like this. It's good.
Nausicaa kind of gives a quizzical look and then shrugs. This stuff really is fascinating. You know, many of the mathematical properties that we use even today were discovered way back then.
Yeah. Quite a few. And also the fact that the Earth was round and lots of other stuff. Yeah.
Exactly. They were a culture who valued knowledge and its application. Unlike today, I believe. Knowledge is often frowned upon.
Well, frowned upon. She smiles a little to herself as she says, sometimes you get told the truth and it's a little too much to bear for some people.
Hmm. And yeah, Nausicaa continues walking along and looking at the various things. Once they're in a kind of relatively quiet area. So, the acrobatic display yesterday. You learned that from Lee?
What? Yeah, yeah. It wasn't magic. Well, she looks around again. Like, it's not. We've been training. Like, I'm kind of tired at the moment, but yeah, he showed me some like yoga things, but combining it with I don't know. It's hard to describe.
That's all right. It's not my area of expertise. Even if you described it, likely I would not understand it very well. However, I must disagree. I think it certainly was some kind of magic. It's
That's
not
what you
something.
said, but it's not like I'm not really using like. Again, she looks around like I'm not using like. It's not like I'm focusing like normally when I do other things. It's different.
Very interesting.
And then
Well,
Julie will just say, "Well, but yeah, I know," and she does some movements by her hands that I don't know looks as though she's doing like an overly dramatic uh stance of a like a B movie, like a kung fu movie of some kind. Just, yes, I know kung fu. She says as she smiles and just tries to look intimidating, but really doesn't.
I mean, Nausicaa has so little to go on. Well, that is good. At least some of us can be capable if we ever have to resort to combat again.
Well, I certainly hope so. You know, our last thing went about as bad as it could.
I disagree. We could have all died. And we didn't.
Right.
And we will learn from it. I myself have been learning. As you can see, I have reached a new level of mastery of the sphere of correspondence.
Good. Good.
I've been able to, although mathematically folding space time has been known to be possible for decades, practically it is impossible. The energy you would have to harness. However, during my research, using new enlightened methods, she just shrugs, and focusing my will, achieving the impossible is not as difficult as you would expect.
kind of what we do, I suppose.
Exactly. I've been thinking about potential firefight applications.
Yeah, like staying out of them.
Well, you say that, but yes. I believe it would not be so great a feat for me to open a small space-time wormhole, but from behind cover to shoot behind our enemies, opening up a small portal behind their head. Relatively easy. I also believe with proper application of prescience, I will be able to predict when I'm about to be shot, and then fold space, so I'm simply not in the same location anymore.
Like Julie's brain seems to lack a bit, but then she's just like, dude, that's so cool. Yeah, yeah, totally. Like, I can't do anything like that, but
Not yet. Well, I can't backflip onto beams, and I can't, do kung fu.
well, we all have to, I don't know, do stuff, I suppose, but yeah, we kind of need someone who's, well, I hope that my life stuff can make me a little bit less, well, prone to dying, honestly. But
Good.
yeah, fingers crossed, I suppose.
It's strange. Once you reach a certain understanding, a certain mastery of a sphere, so many doors are opened. For example, I believe it would be extraordinarily simple for me to reach from the chantry, or my office, or anywhere, into one of these displays and take a priceless artifact for myself. Imagine if we had had that capabilities when we were stealing the stone.
Sure, but I just, well, I need to be real fucking sure that there's no, like, thing that's gonna cut it off while you're doing it, or else you're gonna lose a hand, but sure.
Perhaps. Also, with these items, as much as I may desire to possess them, they are not for me. They're for humanity as a whole, to understand our shared heritage and past. It would be against the principles of enlightenment for me to create some kind of private collection of these treasures.
Right, right, yeah. And Jules just looks at some of the exhibits and she says, just takes it all in and she goes, so, the whole thing about Ava, like, I know you want her to come back and all, but, and that's fine. And I get it. I would like her to come back, but how are you dealing with it? Like, are you feeling all right, or do you want to talk?
She has come back. Her and Boris had a conversation. Yesterday, in fact.
Oh,
He has said he will allow Eve, the Ava Ava, into the chantry until she can leave for something more permanent, secure. This also means Ava will return. In fact, I believe she came back earlier today.
well, that's good. That's super.
It is good. I'm happy. Why were you concerned for me, though? I don't really understand. It was only indirectly affecting me.
Well, despite the fact that we're not friends, she smiles. I, well, hope to be your friend at some point.
Why? We've been over this.
Because I don't think you've been treated good by me and others, and I want to make sure that you know that there are some people who really like you. That's pretty much it. Just I did something that was really mean to you, and first of all, I want to make up for it. But in another way, you're kind of cute and kind of strange, and in your own way, you're quite funny, actually, sometimes, and I kind of like that. But yeah, you're unlike anyone I've ever really met, so I don't know.
What have you done to treat me badly? If you're referring to the hypnosis incident, I
Yeah.
just said I put it behind me.
Yeah, but putting things behind us may not mean that our feelings about it are just fine and dandy and everything's in order.
Maybe
Some of
you're
these
not
things
in,
take time.
maybe you're not in total control of your feelings, but I am.
Julie will look at her, smile. She's very, she's not threatening or combative. We both know that's not true.
Because mouth opens to say something and then she just kind of closes it and glares at Julie. Well,
And
I'm
it's all
sorry
right.
that you have so little faith in my capabilities.
No, it's not. Listen, when I say this, it's not a bad thing. It's a good thing. It just, you have to be able to show emotions, to trust people with them. And I know it's very, very hard, but I hope I can help you in it.
I believe you're wrong. It's not hard. Showing emotions is easy. Lacking control is easy.
Well, for someone who has been through what you've been through, constantly having people mocking you, or, well, part of it I saw, at some point you put up barriers. You put up as many as you can. It makes sense. But that also means that you're not necessarily treating or really going through all of the emotions within you. And if you're not, that might at some point become really problematic, and they might try to get all of these emotions out in one go. That's not going to be good, not for you or for anyone. I don't want to see that happen. So I'm hoping that despite what happened, that you'll open up to me someday. You know most about what happened to me. I've been fairly open about my feelings.
Not at my request. Also, your theory only holds up. You say you should lose control so you don't become pent up. I say simply.
No, that's not
gain,
what I said. What I said
simply will
was
cultivate more willpower so that I am able to better control myself.
Or you accept your feelings, see what they are, see the reason for them, allow yourself to feel them, allow yourself to become angry, but in small doses, and allow yourself to become sad in the right proportion, instead of just suddenly becoming very angry at something that is trivial.
Becoming sad and becoming angry are not a choice. You either are or you aren't. When I speak of controlling these things, and being in control of oneself, I refer to your emotional responses, your outward displays. I may feel sad. I simply don't let it be shown or allow it to affect my judgment.
How do you know that it doesn't affect your judgment?
Because I assess myself. I take the anger into account. And I attempt to remove it from my judgment and my internal functionings.
Julie will just, like, take her hand ever so slightly. She won't grab it or anything. Like,
Nozuko will let you take a hand.
okay, but she will get a little closer and she will just say, baby steps. Doesn't need to be today, tomorrow, but just know that if you want to talk about family or some of those people that were assholes to you or anything, I'm here.
Why would I want to do that?
Get some of it out. I don't know. Maybe waste some time. Maybe hang out. Just talk.
Unlike you, Julie, I attempt to cultivate control, cultivate discipline in myself. I do not see why I would undermine that.
It's not undermining it.
I believe it is. If you cultivate weakness, then you will be weaker.
I'm sorry, but how is it weakness to feel things?
I don't believe it is weakness to feel things. I believe it is weakness to let those feelings control your actions.
Well, then you and I, strangely enough, agree. I don't want feelings to take over your actions by you not acting on any feelings whatsoever. I'm offering help. That's basically it.
Well, thank you, but I don't need it. I believe I am well in control of my actions. Thank you.
We haven't rolled, but I'm guessing how confident does she sound of that?
She sounds more defensive than anything. Like, yeah, she sounds very defensive. Yeah, kind of like she's under threat, and she's kind of being slightly prickly about it.
Okay.
She more or less believes what she's saying. She's certainly not like actively lying about this.
Oh, no, but yeah, okay. Julie will just nod and just say, all right, that's cool.
However, if you like to discuss something more ethereal, I do have a quandary I would like to pose to you.
Sure.
Nausicaa pulls out her mobile and taps it a few times and then turns it to Julie. And you'll see a BBC World News article about record-breaking heavy rainfall in the north of Sichuan province, China.
Global warming?
Likely climate change has something to do with it, but that wasn't what I wanted to discuss with you. My predictive models and my ability as a trader means that I have to be tuned into things. I have to observe cause and effect. These record-breaking rainfalls, there has been a large amount of urbanization, meaning that I believe the previously agricultural area that is now set up as very vastly constructed urban habitats mainly focused on manufacturing, will be less likely to deal, will be, in fact, very unlikely able to deal with flash flooding and mudslides that I believe are coming in the next few days. This will impact the manufacturing in the area, which is largely computer chips for several American firms. I could make a lot of money and profit by shorting these companies. However, these floods will lead to a lot of devastation, potential loss of life, certainly loss of income, economic crisis. I would, in essence, be profiting off death and destruction.
I see.
I was wondering if I should feel any moral compunctions about this. I have no ability to stop it. I know that.
Well, main question is, do you feel any compulsions about this? I'm guessing you do since you ask.
Exactly. Although I would like to say I don't. The truth is, more and more, I'm finding it less easy to ignore the moral aspect of what we do here. Maybe it is my mastery of the correspondence sphere, but all things are linked. All things are one. And even though these things are happening on the other side of the world, affecting people that I have never met and will never meet, I know that I would be uncomfortable profiting in such a way if it were somebody I knew. And this was happening to them. So to do so with somebody that I simply don't know by circumstance is on a certain level hypocritical.
Mm.
I was wondering your opinion on it.
Well, I wouldn't do that myself. I would stay away from it.
No offense, Julie, but you don't have the capabilities to do it yourself. I was asking on my own behalf.
She smiles. She says, okay, that was I was putting myself in your shoes. So if I was you and would have the potential to do this, incapable as I am now, well, if I could do it, if I was in your position, if I was, well, I wouldn't do it. But I understand that your money does a lot for the fight. Would there be a compromise? I mean, if you can't stop it, you can at least maybe take a lot of the money you earn from it and put it directly into relief efforts. Maybe bolster the relief efforts just before, well, to make it as effective as possible to deal with the damage. Then you're making profit off of it, but you're also giving a lot of the money you make from it as directly as you can back to the area. I mean, that's a way of mitigating at least some of the damage. It doesn't make it right, but I'd say that's a step in the right direction. But that's just me. Again, I wouldn't do it myself, but or then maybe I would, depending on how much money I. But then again, me being me, I'd probably give all the money to the people there. But yeah,
Also considers funding a relief effort may work. The money I would be taking would essentially be out of the pockets of the businesses there.
Right, but you would put it to use helping everyone who lives there. So, people owning the corporations, I'm guessing they will be better off no matter what happens than the people whose home gets fucking destroyed by floods.
I believe this to be accurate.
Right.
Not only will they be destroyed by floods, they will likely lose their employment.
If you can
Also,
redirect a lot of that money, it might actually be good in the main scheme of things.
so you think I should shred it hard?
It's a thing worth considering, honestly. I mean, some of these companies make God only knows how many billions. And I'm guessing a person in China, despite the economic uptick there's been in China the last 20 years. Sure, their general economic standing has been improved, sure. Just still improving from quite a low point. I mean, that area of China, and you again, you've seen this maybe once or twice before. Julie begins to just describe like that part of China economically, and
Yeah, Nazca
like
looks very impressed.
this is uncharacteristically detailed and insightful compared to what Julie normally is, because let's face it, she isn't. Well, not normally, but at some point, as she's just weighting all of the things and just what the medium income is and how much money influx would come from she's just weighting all of these things, and then she at one point she just stops, kind of looks over at Nausicaa and just says, "But that's, I mean, I don't know, I mean, that's my opinion. Like, it's fine. I mean, like, if
Maybe you should get a job as an analyst at the firm.
no, that's totally fine. Like, I'm very happy in HR. No, it's fine.
You seem to know what you're talking about.
No, it's just a lot of late night. Like, I kind of zone out to late night TV, so sometimes I hear stuff. I don't know.
Why are you so dismissive of your own abilities?
And out of character now, it is Julie's turn to be very defensive. As she just looks at you. I'm not defensive.
Are you sure?
What do you mean? She closes her eyes for a moment, looks at her again. It's fine. Like, I'm fine. I'm good. I'm not. I fucked up with the. She looks around. The seeking, okay, and I. Look, it's fine. I'm not. It's fine.
Also has a kind of knowing look. Sure. Whatever you say. If you ever wish to open a trading account, we could put some of that inside to good use, though. Even if that use is helping the people of Sichuan province. And there's a slight glint in her eye.
Yeah, like I know what you like. You're helping a lot. You've been doing more than anyone else, and really getting things going. You've helped me with money, and like it's fine. But I'm not gonna join some corporate Wall Street money grubbing like machine. Like, no, I'm not. I'm
Is that how
doing
you see
HR.
me? Money grubbing?
No, I see the point that you're doing. I see why you're doing it, and I see it's not about the money for you. It's almost insignificant to you. I can respect that. But I've seen a lot of the people around this place, well, the city, Wall Street specifically. A lot of the people, they don't care who they hurt. And I don't know. Maybe I'm a little scared that some of it might rub off on me. I don't know. It's not really, it's nothing about you. It's just some of these corporate cocksuckers are like real creeps. Just, yeah.
I agree. When I was with Silver and Sterling, they displayed a lack of control as well. The vast majority of them simply trade off programs made by people like me anyway, quant programs. There are some genuinely talented people on the street, but many of them are not. And they are highly overpaid, in my opinion.
That's an understatement.
They place value in the money they make, not how they make that money. I do place value in money. It is a display that my systems function correctly. And I would be lying if I did not say it makes a lot of things easier.
Oh, it does. In a way. I mean, you do need it to a certain extent, but I try to have money have as little hold over me as possible, but that's just me.
And you are very capable of doing this because I'm adequately able to provide for most of us in the Chantry in a monetary sense.
Hmm. You do know I lived off fairly small salary for a long time, right?
You told me.
I was able to live without much money for a long time.
I believe you. Before coming here, I was a student. I did something similar.
Yeah. But it's, yeah.
I think to many people, many sleepers, money is a be all and end all. It opens all doors and leaves none closed. However, we are not like them. We are working as a group. Money does certain things as we still exist in this world, but the rest of you possess talents that I do not. And I will take advantage of those talents if I need to. It is a good system.
What do you mean? Oh, like employ them? Okay. Yeah, okay.
No, I don't really mean employing them. Frankly, the people employed at Iliad, yourself included, I could likely hire somebody else with very little detriment. What I mean is in ways of protection, research, talents, healing, that sort of thing. For example, with you as Aegis, you will be protecting me.
So you'd be okay with me hanging around more? She smiles.
Well, you hang around the Chantry. You will be protecting us all as a collective. With my new abilities to manipulate space-time, I believe I have become much harder for the Technocratic Union to capture. I may not be good at fighting, but my abilities in fleeing have been considerably bolstered.
Still don't have any idea what we're gonna do against all of them like that.
I believe in assessing of their strength first. Find a weakness.
It's still that fucking robot. Like,
Yes, direct confrontation, I believe, is out of the question.
unless we get our hands on like, I'm guessing that thing's not gonna be too impressed by magic. They've got to have thought of that. So maybe we need some like bazookas or something.
Hmm.
Or maybe like, I don't know.
I have learned that within the Hermetic Order, and in fact within magedom as a whole, there is a phrase used to describe certain members of the Hermetics. The phrase "tac nuke," an abbreviation or shortening of tactical nuclear weapon, is referred to used to members of House Flambeau.
Can, I must have. She just looks as though she's just like she just seems to pause and just holds up her finger. Can you go back a little? Because I'm swearing that you said something about a tactical nuke.
Yes. House Flambeau is one of the houses within the Order of Hermes. Not one may Ava have become committed to, but one that perhaps James will. They are known for being the masters of forces in a very literal way. There is a stereotype among the traditions, from what I understand and from the readings I have done in the library, that the Hermetics are arrogant, brash, and that they seem to want to solve many problems by throwing fireballs at it. This would be House Flambeau.
Right. So, like, you're saying that they have stuff to help in this, or what?
What I'm saying is that with time, James may be able to. With time, James may be able to provide the kind of force the Technocratic Union will be unable to resist.
Yeah, the two of them have been moving. I believe, having seen the Greek exhibition, they're moving into a more common area.
Yeah.
Julie just so she's just goes over in the cafeteria and buys some food. She will just say, do you want anything?
Sure. And
And
this looks at the menu and chooses the most unhealthy option.
deep fried, I don't know, like some sandwich with like fries, I think. Yeah, probably that.
Bottle of Red Bull. Just something disgusting and unhealthy.
Julie takes a salad and mineral water. And yeah, they will just probably find a table. And as they're doing that, just passing one of the tables, Julie will see someone she recognizes.
I'm going to say that Rebecca has come to our work here in the cafeteria, surrounded by all this wonderful history and shit. So she's probably
History
got
and
her
shit.
laptop open. You know,
Motto of the
history.
Smithsonian.
Exactly. She's got her laptop open. Probably has a plate next to her, something she's been snacking on. Mostly gone now. Just little sprouts and bits of leftover vegetables scattered. And since Julie is not a particularly inconspicuous person, she'll look up and meet her eyes, and her face immediately, like, you know when you spot somebody that you know has been through something terrible, that like, oh no kind of face freeze?
Mm-hmm.
Her face does that.
The kind of face I got when I saw Joanna. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, that was uncalled for. I am sorry.
Sad. And she stops what she's doing and leans forward like she's about to get up, but she doesn't get up. She lets Julie decide whether we're having this encounter.
Julie, just being herself, will just say hi. And like there's a bit of processing. Like takes like she does say hi, and it takes like 10 seconds before she remembers that Awa was there with her, and this is probably going to get complicated. She just says, "Oh, hi," and she, like, you will notice without rolling P&E that there's a bit of that, but given that it hasn't been that long and it was fairly violent, or fairly, well, uncomfortable the way that what happened, she seems quite relaxed and doesn't seem too affected by it.
Okay.
So, hi. Thanks for last time. It was cool. You lunch?
Yes. Will you join me?
Sure. She looks at Nausicaa and just...
Nausicaa looks characteristically like eyes wide, of an expression saying, "Why?"
Or, "Oh God, oh God, oh God." Something like that. Julie sits down. This is my friend. We were just out, looking at stuff. So, how are you holding up? She just...
Rebecca is watching the two of them so intently, trying to figure out what the social cues are here, because she knows that Ava was involved in stuff that you don't talk about in public. She's pretty sure Ava's dead.
Nausicaa sits down very reluctantly and, glares at Julie slightly.
This is one of and she just looks at Nausicaa. This was one of Ava's friends, and that comes across weird because someone who's just lost someone close to them wouldn't say it like that. They wouldn't be like changing it up and just remembering what to say. So, but she just looks at... Yeah, I met her over at her place. She's cool. It's fine.
Also, again, just gives Julie a look. I don't know any others.
Oh, right, Julie says, and I'll roll for that, and I hope I botch.
You had better increase the difficulty.
I do believe that is a thing.
Nausicaa, for her part, clearly, like, put on. Nausicaa has the rotten liar flaw, so I usually just don't roll. It's just obvious that she's lying.
It's fantastic. Is that an actual flaw?
I think I found it in Hunter, actually. Oh no, was it Mage?
That's amazing. I believe it. Hunter and Demon have some great flaws.
Is +2 difficulties, all lies, and I have no subterfuge, so it's +3 difficulty.
Yeah, I'm rolling at least
the talent.
7.
Oh, really?
I just fail. I have 1 success, no matter what. So yeah, there's like you get the sense that, well, with Nausicaa being horrendously bad at lying, she definitely has no Nava.
Weird, because they had snacks together. Yeah, Rebecca like sits back a little bit and looks at them both and gives a really small, uncomfortable smile, and she just says, "I was so sorry to hear about what happened."
Yeah, it was really
And
tragic, and I didn't know she was into that sort of thing.
it sounds like it was a complicated situation.
Oh, yeah, totally complicated. Yes, it was. Really. And that part seems to be fairly genuine, and she's not, like, it is very complicated, apparently.
She turns to start to offer a hand to Nausicaa.
Muska just stares at the hand, like you just offered her a porcupine or something.
She has offered the hand and she just kind of closes the fist and pulls it back. I'm Dr. Abasom. Dr. Wright. Rebecca. A friend of Julie's, I hope.
Oh, yeah, like, totally. It was good tea and stuff. Like, it was really nice.
An acquaintance of Julie's.
I also am an acquaintance of Julie's. My name is Anna Kamnina.
A pleasure to meet you.
Yeah, Anna's not, like, um, she looks to Anna, quotation marks. She just says, yeah, it's a long story. Yeah, we know each other, and yeah, we were just looking at things, and
She works for me.
right, yeah,
Oh. Oh, I see. It really is a pleasure to meet you then.
Why?
I've heard the highest praise. At least of your organization.
Oscar again looks at Julie, kind of scowlily.
Rebecca is going to roll to not look amused by this. Where are we?
I think just grab like extra dice, roll a 1. We've rolled in mage for our magey things before this, but
Okay.
oh right, yeah, you can't roll in dice.
If you want to roll for me, just tell me what I got.
no, just roll in there. It's fine. We have to make like a stealth roll at the beginning of scenes, so we haven't rolled anything else. Oh, unless you did P, but yeah, just we'll move it to extra dice.
Yeah, I failed, so. Okay. But yeah, I know Ava also talked about work, but I mean, yeah.
So she has 5 successes.
Wow.
Yeah, she lies well. So she doesn't look at all amused by this. She just looks kind of vaguely, generally, blandly friendly.
Yeah, it's a good place to work.
That's what I heard. And I applaud you for your progressive hiring practices.
What do you mean by that?
It seemed as though you've been. Forgive me, Julie. Wall Street isn't particularly where I would have imagined you, and it sounds as though you've been. Well, your organization. I apologize. I don't know exactly how close you two work, but your organization has certainly given her a chance to soar, to fulfill her potential.
Julie works in human resources. She's not a broker.
Still, even that sort of environment tends to be influenced by the traditions of the financial sector. No?
Do you think I fit into the traditional stereotypes of the financial sector?
That's an interesting question. I'm afraid I don't know you well enough yet. Do you?
I believe the demographic would largely be male.
Mm-hmm.
Old. Moneyed.
Mm-hmm.
I am not a broker by trade. I'm a physicist.
I see.
Normally, we retain our positions of quant departments. I, however, run the company.
And what made you go into that?
My major is in mathematical modelings on chaos theory, on complex systems, of which Wall Street is one.
Absolutely.
By applying systematic mathematical models, you are able to more accurately predict outcomes. My thesis was on weather patterns.
Whew. That's almost an oxymoron.
Oscar cocks her head, almost bird-like. Explain.
Rebecca is smiling like she said it, but it was a little bit of a goad. Like she's not teasing or mocking. She just is intrigued. The weather is rather notoriously difficult to predict, though I realize that modeling's gotten a lot better.
Incorrect. In fact, since the early 70s, there have been very few advances in accurate weather prediction.
Really?
Really.
That's fascinating.
You have heard the adage of the butterfly, I believe. Likely incorrectly. Well, although the common perception is that butterflies' wings flapping cause storms, it is in fact the reverse. To be able to predict a storm accurately, you would have to account for every contributing factor. Factors as small as butterflies' wings flapping.
Indeed.
I, however, use more advanced models.
Advanced in what way?
Advanced in the usual way. More precise, more accurate, taking into account more factors.
I see. With greater data gathering, then? You'll have to forgive me, this is not my field of study. I'm fascinated, though.
Well, you're not wrong. We gather data, of course, like our hedge funds do. And we have a quantitative system, a scanner, that I designed myself. And it accounts for much smaller points of data and applies them much more accurately than others on Wall Street.
I see.
It could be applied to many things, with correct modifications, of course, but there's little practical application in weather prediction. The stock market, however, provides a dynamic, interesting, living system for me to apply my models.
And do you still have time for personal pursuits?
A small giggle will come from Julie at that question.
Yeah?
Nausicaa looks slightly confused by this. How do you mean?
Well, it's not your major. It seems like it wouldn't be your passion, though I understand it's certainly very interesting and very engrossing, and I've heard it's fairly all-encompassing. Do you find that you're still able to do the things that make you happy?
This is what makes me happy. Not that happiness is particularly relevant to my productivity.
You're a very lucky person, then. Not many people find their passions and their business lives can coincide. What about you, Julie? It's human resources, what tickles your fancy?
It's like I think my job, my work is not necessarily. It's more of like hobbies and free pastimes that relaxing and doing yoga and
Recreational drug use.
Mm-hmm.
Nausicaa's looking almost like accusatorily at Julie, like she somehow got her back for something. Perhaps this entire social situation.
That happens sometimes in good company and stuff. She kind of just looks at Nausicaa and actually just smiles. Allegedly, of course.
And certainly never at work, I'm sure.
No, never, never at work.
Nausicaa's head turns from her large triple burger with all the sauces very slowly, and she kind of squints at Julie to see if she's lying about smoking drugs.
She is lying. Also, I rolled like 3 1s on that roll, but I have a 7, so I have a success.
Well, Nausicaa is going to arete this and use...
Oh my gosh. Okay.
She is going... Oh, sorry, I'm jumping to extra dice roll. She is going to use entropy to sense whether you are lying or not. No. Are we an extra dice roll of 1?
2.
2.
Oh, 2. Oops, I rolled in 1. I will re-roll. So slow.
It is.
You borked it. There we go.
I have 2 successes. So, yeah, Nausicaa essentially uses the raw components of Julie's thing, twitches, tells, everything he knows, she knows about Julie, to assess whether there is a weakness to her statement, i.e. whether it is a lie. And, yeah, I believe I'll get it. And, of course, this will ping our friendly hunter.
Jesus. They're like crazy. The dice are decided I'm here.
It's much more like she's not necessarily smoking or doing anything.
No. I don't get any more information. I simply know whether the statement was true or not. It's not an empathy roll.
I know, but what you would get is that, like, her tics, her movements, everything, just seems to be. It seems to be a little bit more relaxed. There's definitely something there, but it doesn't seem to be. The thing is, normally at work, in her previous work, which she had for a long time, smoking on the work was very, very common. She doesn't actually do it in Iliad. So I think you get something somewhere in between, because at this point in the conversation, they're talking about work at Iliad. So
Okay.
I don't know if, like, that's why it's hard for me to define, like.
So yeah, Nausicaa would, through certain like facial twitches and all that kind of Darren Brownie stuff, she would more or less get that then, I guess. And I believe we have a slightly shocked hunter. Does your sight, what does it do? Would it detect some kind of magical resonance?
No, she hasn't activated her. She hasn't spent conviction yet. She just feels that. Oh God, I had a lot of successes. I think with that many successes, she can kind of tell who it came from. So she is aware that Nausicaa did a thing. She feels that a thing has happened and it came from Nausicaa. But
does she get any ping of kind of thing, or simply just?
Let me ask about 5 successes. But it's let's not hold up the scene for that.
So yeah, Nausicaa will kind of glance at Julie, and she'll keep an eye on Julie at work from now on, in a very literal sense.
A very good idea, if I do say so myself. Julie, for her part, is just like looking, but yeah, Anna is a really good, really good boss. It's a pleasure to work for her. Yeah.
Nausicaa's again just squinting at you to see. I'm not going to actually roll her again at that, but yeah, she's clearly looking slightly disbelieving at Julie.
Roll Arate. Do it. Come on. Do it.
Okay. You brought me to this. Yeah. Was that a true statement? Or is there a
That was
weakness to
actually
your
a
words?
fairly true statement.
Okay, Nausicaa again squints, and then upon seeing none of Julie's ticks or tells, almost like harumphs, and just kind of like sits back slightly satisfied and tucks into this massive burger.
Julie is
There we go.
no pings. What is that?
That means she's hiding the fact that she can tell that Nausicaa keeps doing a thing.
I believe the first one failed, though, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the first one failed. She
At this point, she's like, "Are you okay?" Or like,
no. Y'all are gonna have to roll it if you want to notice that she twitched.
"Oh, that's right."
You're gonna have to actually get a perception empathy success. Because I failed, but you might botch.
Alertness.
Empathy.
Oh, a glasswalker. Adorable.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
do
you
notice.
notice.
So, are you okay? Like, I just thought you, like, she looks to Anna, and she looks back and she goes, "Right. So, I gotta apologize. Like, but what, I can't remember what did we talk about it? Like last time it was a lot of stuff, but where is it? Where is it you work? I don't think I'm asked about that.
Well, I work on contract now. I'm a writer, an analyst is probably the best way to put it. I work for the Times occasionally. I work for private citizens most often. Occasional government organizations. She glances at Nausicaa, who she's almost 100% sure will be uninterested. So it's kind of an apologetic glance. And then she tells Julie, I don't know if I mentioned it, but my degrees are in religion and politics.
Oh, right. Yeah, I think I think I remember something. Yeah, I'm sorry. My short-term memory is kind of yeah. Like it's fine. It's
No offense taken.
Nausicaa, on the mention of your degree, kind of has a look that if there was a 5 success entropy roll, would be saying, "Ha, the humanities," very deridingly.
Do I need to roll it? I feel like it's fairly obvious.
No, it's fine. Nausicaa clearly, basically has a low opinion of this sort of academia.
Rebecca doesn't rise to that bait. She just smiles. Politely.
And Julie is just eating a bit of her salad and just said, "So, yeah, like, you're writing for a paper or your book or what? Like,
Yes, I've published a couple books, but nothing at present. I have side projects of my own, but mostly it's as things arise.
okay, okay, cool. Like, it's sure." And as Julie is sitting there, another person is going to join the three sitting and eating.
For the sake of brevity, Emma, are you fine with Cammy having given out a text saying, "I'm about the city today. What are you up to?"
Sure, yeah, she would have said I'm working at the museum.
So then, yeah. Around that time of munchies, nom noms, and baked confections of a endless variety, Cammy makes her way into the museum, and doesn't take her long to look around the various exhibits, and then deciding that she would like some food, and so she makes her way into the cafeteria, picks up a tray of mostly sweets, pastries, and a bowl of chocolate fudge brownie ice cream. And it's when she's going to sit down that she notices Rebecca, and she'll walk in that general direction.
How noticeable is Cammy right now? Is she wearing all purple and bright dyed hair and
Looks like a Netrunner card.
Her hair is brightly dyed and whatnot, but for the most part, she's in like jeans and like a tank top with like a purple design on the front. It's warm enough today that she doesn't need a jacket or anything of that ilk.
So Rebecca is going to, as she spots her face lights up a little bit, and then, God, she's gonna have to roll something, but she glances at the two here and says, "A friend of mine I've been expecting to join me. I won't keep you if you were hoping to move on and see other exhibits, but if you'd like to meet her, I'm sure she'd be fascinated."
Julie smiles a little wolfishly to Nausicaa, or Anna just smiles to her and just says, "Yeah, like, we'd like to meet her, sure."
As Cammy gets closer and the window of escape closes.
Yeah, Nausicaa's just glaring at Julie again. But yeah, looking very trapped. And she just basically kind of like, concentrates on just eating this huge burger that's way bigger than her head.
Hi. Julie will get up and just say, "Hi, so you're a friend of Rebecca's?"
This week at least. I haven't talked to her in a while, so I don't know if things have changed. She'll look over at Rebecca with a smile.
Nausicaa spits out a mouthful of food.
Well, that seems a little harsh.
Well, I don't know.
Cammy
Things
is my
change.
tech support these days, but
Okay.
I would also have
So
called
you're-
her a friend.
So you're like sassy and okay, that's cool. And Julie will go over and give you a big hug. Just say, "Oh, it's cool to meet you. Like, I'm Julie. Cammy, that's totally."
You have a solid piece of concrete of tense muscles that you're wrapped around.
Yeah, Rebecca also
His
like
face is contorted into a look of no.
Rebecca goes rigid when
Is
Julie reaches
she
out.
like super pumped? Or what?
No, she's like all of her muscles are tensed at once. The second
Okay,
you
I
grab a
thought
hold of
you were
her.
saying that she was built like a fucking chick brick house. But okay, yeah. Okay, that makes more sense. She just tenses up. Okay. I just needed to know like what. But she just like this woman, she just smiles at you as she lets go and she says like, and this is my friend Anna, and yeah, like come join us. And she just gets out a chair for you and sits down, and seems to begin to eat her or continues to eat her salad.
Rebecca's
Julie?
expression is floored.
You shouldn't introduce us as friends, she says to Julie. We're
Right.
coworkers.
Sorry, I won't make that. She laughs a bit and smiles at her, smiles at Anna, and just says, "No, don't worry. I won't. I won't make that mistake again. Don't worry."
Cammy is still standing there, her eyes just kind of wide, her pupils little dots, and her whole body just.
Rebecca reaches out and pulls out the chair that Julie pulled out and moves it closer to herself, and just kind of edges it back to give Cammy a place to sit. Kind of a come sit. I'll keep you safe.
Cammy sits down very robotically.
Okay, so like you work together, and you're like the editor, or just tech support for the books and stuff.
No, we don't work together. We she saved my computer from toolbars. Apparently,
Oh, okay, like hackers. Oh, okay, I get it. Okay, yeah, totally fine. Okay, that's cool.
Nausicaa looks slightly kind of like, yeah, kind of just like oh god, when she mentions hackers.
Rebecca just shrugs. And I thought we were friends until I found out today that perhaps that's a little more up in the air, but hopefully I can win back your affection, Cammy.
It was more meant as a joke, but
Hopefully before it's time to renew my antivirus.
And she's just going to pick up the bottle of water from her tray, open it, and she is just going to chug it down.
I'm gonna get more food. Nausicaa stands up and walks over to the cafeteria.
Rebecca lets her get, a little further out of earshot, and then glances at Julie and says, "Should I apologize? I think I've made her uncomfortable."
No. It's well, she's uncomfortable around humans, so it's not a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Cammy's like in mid-chew when she says it. And she stops.
I haven't seen her like get that uncomfortable around animals, but any sort of human contact, I think it's not like she's cool. It just takes her a while to get close to people.
Doesn't like to be touched?
No, not really. No.
Imagine that.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know. You seem to like. Okay. I'm sorry. I should ask first. Like, it's just a hug. Like,
So, Julie, where are you from? Not New York, obviously.
what makes you say that? I mean-
Normal hugs in New York.
Oh, right. I used to live up in a commune, like upstate.
Really?
Yeah, like communal stuff and lots of soul searching and like mellow time and like lots of like living free, you know, no, without like all the trouble and the hassle, like everything, you know.
Is that where you were born?
No, 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 no. That's no.
How did you become involved in that soul searching?
She just pauses for a moment. Just looks at you and says, "That's yeah. Well, it's kind of personal, but well, I had some parents that wanted me to do some things really, really fast, and at one day I just had enough, and I said, go fuck yourselves. And well, they didn't approve of a lot of stuff I did, so I found out that it had a bigger impact on me than I thought it had, and so I needed to, mellow and not, get stressed and all that, and find my own feet and stuff.
Of course. It seems like you've done a good job. I'm glad it's worked out so well for you.
Oh, thanks. That's really kind. Like that's some good karma. She just says as she nods and smiles.
Rebecca kind of peers at her for a second because she just doesn't know what the fuck to make of Julie. Like, pretty much every time they talk. But her expression is generally friendly.
Nausicaa comes back with another burger, a burrito wrap, and the most unhealthy pizza you've ever seen. And sits down and arranges the boxes in such a way that she creates her own little fortress of solitude around herself.
Rebecca is going to... I'm sorry, Robbie. She's going to spend this point of conviction because now she's pretty sure that Nausicaa is a werewolf. Because the person who keeps checking lies
Maybe she
is a werewolf. But yeah, she activates second sight and
So, I think with mages you get our resonance.
You get so what we did in the past, and I'll change the picture of pockets. I did it for humor.
Yeah, thank you.
So what we did in the past, at Duncan's suggestion, so I believe he may want to keep that. I'll talk to him after the scene.
Mhm.
But what we did in the past was a bit about your paradigm, I believe. You kind of freestyle it, like for example, in season one of Mage, Scott, who was a hermetic, his paradigm was about how language connects people, and under second sight, they would see a bunch of what's the word? A bunch of symbols on his clothes.
Well, Nausicaa has an established resonance, which is essentially a magical reflection of her magic and avatar, and a kind of combination of all that, which is kind of mage resonance. So I could do that. Like I've used it before.
I suppose so, but it manifests visually. So get ready to get creative.
Yeah, that's more than fine. So yeah, upon observing Nausicaa under the using second sight, you get a feeling of the first thing you hear, or you kind of is there an oral component to it? Because you could potentially kind of hear something in her peripherals, or is it strictly visual?
Well, if it's second sight, then
it is visual.
Okay. It might be slightly more difficult then. You would get. Okay, I know. You would have, because actually it fits to something she was saying earlier. Nausicaa has a pair of butterfly wings off her back that she occasionally flaps. And obviously, this is a reference. Could be very much a reference to what she was talking about earlier. And yeah, if there is a kind of a heard component, you would hear distant rumbles of thunder. And maybe in fact, in your kind of peripheral vision, you see lightning strikes kind of outside the window. Although actually around her seems relatively kind of has a very calm aura, and you get somehow the feeling of the kind of the eye of the storm.
Okay.
And yeah, obviously there's an allusion to the chaos butterfly.
And I
I'll
don't
say
think
it,
she's sorry.
no, I just want to mention. I'll go ahead and say that like sounds and aromas, if necessary, like could apply as well, just because it's well, second sight is about the senses and detection more than anything. So
Yeah, I mean, yeah, as long as it's not like too literal. But yeah, you
Yeah.
would get this kind of like this distant rumble of thunder around her, and yeah, you may even actually see. I actually know this. You would see on her skin, almost as if like tattooed around her eyes and on her hands especially, but on other aspects of her skin, mathematical formulas with certain symbols mixed in with them that look slightly more esoteric.
Okay.
It's one of yeah.
And she hasn't seen Julie under second sight before, so
For Julie's part, as you activate it, you swear that she's wearing a suit. It looks like more of a business suit, but then it's more vague. What really stands out is the fact that she has a couple of more hands. And it looks as though you're looking at some statue of a Hindu extraction, where they're holding in different positions out from her body, and
address.
yeah, and it's kind of she's kind of glowing in a way.
Okay.
But it's a mixture of a couple of things, but it definitely looks something like that.
Just seen Campbell before. Okay. Though if you want to describe some stuff, please do. It's my favorite thing.
Well, you kind of get the superimposed image of that more bestial side, but maybe at this point you might see just a hint of I don't know, you just kind of get this sensation or the sound of like a purring engine, more or less. And also there's a little bit of a weird little spirit cockroach crawling around on her shoulders.
Oh. What about that? I don't know if she can see the cockroach, but she knows how Cammy feels about roaches. Ugh.
yeah,
So,
I'll be honest, Vinny. That hasn't really factored in the past. It's really just been kind of what you see in the gift that I put up here. You get the bestial flashes and a wolf-like form.
So as Nausicaa sits down and arranges her Fortress O food, Rebecca sits back and picks up her drink with both hands. It's probably sweet tea. Almost as though she were picking up a teacup, but it's not a teacup. It's, a soda cup from the fountain. And just sips it and glances around at the group. Just thoughtfully.
My question is, do we detect anything?
Nope.
It is incredibly difficult, and with second sight, there's nothing really to tip you off about it.
No problem at all.
Yeah, there's no cues to hint you in. I don't see how you would.
Okay.
See it.
It might some point. Julie will, but it's not going to be now. Have a look at Spirit Sight, but get to it.
You might notice that she's looking very thoughtful. You can roll perception empathy if you want to.
No, that's fine.
But
but she will just like, yeah, like when I lived in that commune and stuff, like, personal boundaries are something you had to like kind of shred and just not have because it was like a hindrance. So yeah.
That sounds
Hmm.
like literally the worst thing ever.
No, it's cool. It's like you commune, you make food together, like you love together, you do lots of things. It's really cool.
Upon Garu friend, upon Cammy saying that, Nausicaa just kind of looks up over her little fortress and just gives her a look of like, exactly. Someone understands.
And as Julie just continues on, her face contorts more and more out of shape. As the sound of it literally looks like it's physically causing her pain.
Alright, so yeah, and you'll notice that by now Julie is sitting in a lotus position in the chair.
Aw.
As she's finishing her salad, and she was just, while she's still eating, she would just say, "Yeah, I did a lot of yoga, a lot of stuff. Like, it's like the best times, but had to move on, and moved here. It's all right. It's all right. This city could use a lot more like relaxation and stuff. A lot of stressed people. That's why I work in human resources. It's all about like making sure that people don't burn out and like they get like better sen and stuff. So yeah.
Hmm.
Nausicaa scowls. No, it is managing humans as a resource. It's making sure that they work at their optimum efficiency.
And that's what I meant. Like that's yeah. That's totally what I meant. Yeah.
It sounded a lot more like holistics and healing crystals, the way you put it.
Well, it's very difficult to describe human resources. I think it tends to require a touch as varied as the resources under your care.
The doctor here knows what she's talking about.
She glances at Nausicaa and Cammy and just kind of starts to laugh quietly. Forgive me, Julie seemed a little outnumbered.
No, it's fine. It's fine. So yeah, like, have you seen a lot of the exhibit, or you just? I mean, if you're doing some business things, then like, I mean, you can. I don't know. Even like, if you need some privacy, that's fine. Me and Nazca, me and Ava can go and.
Sorry, did she just say Nausicaa out loud?
She would say Anna. Sorry,
Okay,
that was because I changed it to Ava, which you wouldn't say either. I meant Anna. We can go for well, Anna's got some food, so I suppose not right now, but like in a moment.
Yeah, Nausicaa is absolutely shoveling back the food. She's quite small, and she definitely shouldn't be able to eat this much, but she is.
Well, I certainly won't keep you if you have places to be. I've
No,
been
no,
doing
no.
a
It's
little
totally cool. It's
research,
totally
but
fine. Like no problem.
I'm
Like
in no.
I haven't been getting out a lot like I used to, like meeting a lot of people and getting to know people and stuff. So like
I'm so
meeting like Cammy here and you, and like that's super good. Like I should be doing that more, but it's not always the thing. But yeah, it's fine. You're sorry?
Hmm? And she picks up the bowl of ice cream and fills her mouth with ice cream.
I am going to roll something now. I'm going to roll Arate 2 to detect surface thoughts, and I have 1 success, so I do believe I succeed on Kemi.
She doesn't like you. You invaded her personal space, and she is triggered.
Oh my god.
And I need to roll her perception primal urge.
Surely for Werewolf's trigger, you got to roll rage.
Yeah. I'll do that. Spend the point of willpower. She doesn't have enough to rage. Art to frenzy.
Boo.
The difficulty for her right now is 5 because we're just.
Don't poke the wolf. I have no idea what happens when you do. So
We all die.
yeah.
She's a little bit upset. But yeah, you definitely sense an anger there, which is leaps and bounds beyond anything you would sense on you sensed before. It is almost like homicidal in nature. Blind. And I gotta roll her perception and primal urge, but I think it's just her perception. It is.
You don't have any primal urge?
Yeah, I'm a glasswalker. That's
It's
like
+1 then.
no, it's a talent.
Primal urges?
Yeah.
My bad. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Oh.
Oh no.
Her eyes were kind of trying to avoid Julie's, and now her eyes are just kind of fixed on Julie's as she's holding the spoon there.
Wait, what? I don't think you can detect perception. I don't think you can detect that.
If it's a magical effect, especially if it specifically targeted her.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
I think it's the same as Rebecca detecting it.
Not a call I can make, not a mage ST. Might be worth PMing Duncan if he's up, but like
Sure.
I will admit it was not overt.
It's what we've done in the past, but
I'm
Yeah,
fine with it.
I know
We've
we're
had a
virtual.
weird. There's like an unofficial rule that people just can detect magic, and it's not in any rulebook anywhere.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Okie doke.
But yeah, I'm a strong believer in like if you can't see any or feel any effects of something, then you don't have any reason to detect it. Unless you're like a hunter and you have a magical ping.
You would have seen that Julie just seemed to just for a moment just before this, but she just seems to just let her arms fall in her lap, and she just closes her eyes real quick, and does seem to sit there for a moment before you detect this. So let's just say that you put 2 and 2 together or something like that. Like,
For the sake of brevity, until we can get like an official ruling, I'm cool.
yeah, I'm cool with it. It's no problem.
And yeah, so she's just
And then Julie will just blink her eyes open, look at Cammy, and just goes, look, girl, like, if there's like problems with personal spaces, I'm totally sorry. Like, I didn't mean anything. Like, I was just trying to be friendly. Like, don't worry. Like, look, if it was too far and you have some issues, that's totally fine. Like, no problem. I'm totally sorry about that. Okay.
Rebecca's gonna reach over and just very lightly touch like the back of Cammy's elbow.
It does that thing where, like, when you're completely fixated on something and somebody makes contact with you, she just kind of does that. And then she looks over at Rebecca.
Rebecca's gonna roll to not flinch. She has one success to not flinch when Cammy, turns all that rage her way suddenly.
I'm not even going to have her roll it at this point because she knows that she makes Rebecca uneasy.
Mm-hmm.
So she removes the spoon from her mouth first and foremost, and she swallows and she just kind of gives a cleansing breath, more for Rebecca to notice than anybody else.
She'll give her arm a squeeze. Her hand's still there, and she gives it just a gentle squeeze and then sits back again, sweating slightly and smiling at the same time. Everything's fine.
Touching people when you don't know them, when you don't know who they are, what they're about, or any kind of past traumas they might have had, is a good way to get yourself punched in the throat.
Though obviously not innocence
Oh,
in my heart.
I mean, like, okay, I get it. Like, I'm sorry. Like, it's some pretty deep stuff. I get it. Like,
I hope you do. There are a lot of crazies out in New York.
she just looks at you and just nods very slowly and just says, "Yeah, yeah, lots of crazies, sure."
Rebecca feels that pain. There are lots of crazies in New York.
Yeah, it definitely an indication that you might just be one of them, but she doesn't say that obviously. She just
Cammy looks oddly at peace with this if it's very blatant, just because now she knows Julie will never touch her again. And that's all she needs to be at ease.
all right. So yeah, that was. Just looks over at Anna and just. Well, I mean, and she just stops. She's about to say something, perhaps a little bit ballsy. Just looks back at Cammy and just shakes her head a little bit and just says, "Never mind."
So have you done much traveling, Julie?
Oh yeah, like I think I traveled a lot in India, but I don't know. I think we talked
That's
about
right,
that
you
last.
mentioned that.
Yeah, and an ashram for a while. That was so cool. Like go.
So have you been to see the relevant exhibits here?
Well, yeah, but we also saw there's some new with Greek stuff and saw one of the others. Yeah, I've seen the one about Indian stuff before. So there hasn't been any new things, so it's like, I don't know.
Fair enough. Do you feel like it captures the essence of what you experienced very well?
Yeah, I mean, it's a museum. Like it's not like India is just gone. Like you can actually go and see it. So I don't see much point to it, honestly.
Much point to museums?
No, and like museum about a culture that is actually still present in the world. Like that I don't like. Okay, like the Roman Empire. I can totally see that because it's been
Not
500 years for the Eastern Roman Empire and like at least 1,000 years for the Western. But you know, I mean, that makes sense. Like to have museums about that, but about a
not
culture
everybody, not everybody has the means to travel broadly and widely. you bring the museum to them so they can experience the world and broaden their horizons. Even if just a
True.
little bit.
I did manage to get to India for about $600.
Oh,
You
how
can
did
tell
you
that
You know, well, I think it was a little bit more, but let me just tell you, I didn't travel in luxury. Like, traveled a lot of people together, and it was a whole experience. But yeah, like, it doesn't matter really what means you have. It's like more about the journey, and like, it's more about like the will to do it, and what's the purpose and stuff. Yeah, more like
well, $600 could possibly be 6 weeks worth of groceries for a struggling single parent or something of that ilk. I think it's pretty awesome that they have places where you can go and see everything the world has to offer under one roof, or at least get a little taste for it.
It's not often I hear someone disparage the Smithsonian.
Yeah,
Tell me
I
about
don't
the
disparage it. It's just like this is what people are like in India. Like, I don't know. You can you can look that shit up on the internet. Like, you can talk online with people from India. Like, I don't know. It's just, but I mean, I get it. Like, it's totally fine. But it's just like for me, it's museums are for things of the past that don't exist anymore. That's just that's just my thing. Like that's what I think of a museum. I don't know. It's just that's just it. Like cultures and stuff, they're like more living, and you have to live in it, and like you can't really like you have to live it. You have to experience it. You can't just like look it up at a museum, and that's kind of not how it works, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not what they're doing here. This is a display of ancient Greek.
Exactly.
So why are you talking about India?
Oh, that was the discussion, you know. She points over to Rebecca.
Just trying not to look fascinated.
Ozika seems very defensive of the Smithsonian.
Aww. So tell me about the Greek exhibit. I didn't stop in. I probably should before I go.
You should.
Any highlights in particular I should make sure I don't miss?
There was something about the Iliad, wasn't it?
Really?
There's a Sumerian carving they believe may be a lost verse.
Did you say Sumerian?
I did.
The lost verse of the Iliad in Sumerian.
This is probably Robbie out of character just making shit up on the spot, so...
Oh, okay. I'm like, well, that would be weird. Okay, sorry. That's fair. Rebecca looks perplexed, and then she has that kind of, well, I'm going to go look at that kind of look on her face for a second. But it's not, it doesn't seem at all directed towards Nausicaa. It seems like if someone's going to get their mind opened, then it's not going to be Nausicaa. She looks fascinated and a little disoriented, I guess. I think disoriented is probably the best word for it. It's certainly amazing to live in a city with these sorts of resources. If nothing else, it's amazing to stand in front of the artifact. I don't know, Julie. When you're looking at things online, looking at pictures, it's really so much harder to get that sense of perspective, don't you think?
Oh, yeah, totally. I don't do that. I just try to have most of it like in real life. I'm just
Hmm.
it was just a comment on like I don't know
I get you.
living
I
cultures.
understand.
Like I don't see much point in having living cultures in a museum. But that's just me.
Perhaps you can think of it as a sort of civic temple. Our taxpayer dollars, our entrance fees, go towards gathering works of art, the sorts of things we would want to share and
Oh,
experience.
temples normally don't have. She looks to the cafeteria.
Rebecca's eyebrows shoot up. You don't think food is an integral experience?
Well, a temple is a temple. That should be dedicated to a specific purpose, not multiples, and it shouldn't have fucking stores in them. But hey, that's just
Huh. Oh, well, I won't get started. But, like I said, food is integral to.
oh yeah, but like people shouldn't be making money off of it. Like, it should
I
be
think you'll
communal
find-
effort, like making food and it just like it should be a communal effort. Maybe in the temple, that's fine, but it shouldn't be like to just profit off of it, like greedy and just no. That's like not anywhere near a temple. Like temple is a sacred place.
Rebecca shrugs very politely. But there's a sense that perhaps she disagrees. But it doesn't seem at all judgmental or what's the word I want? Antagonistic?
Mm-hmm.
She just kind of, shrugs, smiles.
And Julie's sitting there, and she's kind of moving her knees up and down a bit. And she's sitting there relaxing. She's done with her salad. She'll put her hands in her pocket. Well, her one hand in her pocket. She fishes out something that she fiddles with in her hand. She just looks around and just looks at Anna and she says, how far is Anna in her food?
She's finished the second burger and is halfway through the meat feast pizza.
She kind of
dedication on her
smiles.
face.
Yeah, she kind of smiles. She thinks this is quite funny, perhaps a bit cute, and she just nods her head and just says, "So, like, I'm going to. Okay, we're well, in for a penny, in for a pound, or whatever the saying is." Turns to Cammy, and she asks, like, "So, like, I know it's kind of personal and stuff, but, like, again, I'm totally sorry about, like, if I crossed like too much of a line, but, like, is it something you want to talk about or something? Because, like, it's totally okay. Like, a lot of times it happens. Like, it helps if you talk about stuff like that."
Nausicaa looks up from her food and with a mouthful of pepperoni and grease said, "Here, while my personal space."
I know, like, and I'm apologizing for not, like, but
Cammy's sort of leaning forward on the cafeteria table, and she's just kind of got this, I'm not going to say standoffish look, but it's just like a almost sly look, and she just raises her brows and she just points to Nausicaa, or Anna. Robbie's character without the hair.
Anna, yeah.
Oh, I'm not here with the character.
Rebecca's phone's gonna go off, and she makes an apologetic face and steps away for a second. I'll be right back. Sorry.
I mean, you can call her Nausicaa out of character. That's obviously fine. Yeah.
And Cammy is left alone with the two of them and suddenly looks extremely uncomfortable. And she starts, she stares down at, like, the croissant, and then the cheese Danish, and she's sort of looking between the two. In her head, she's just thinking, for the love of God, pick one, Cammy, for the love of God. And she grabs the cheese Danish and just starts, she takes like a huge bite out of it, starts chewing.
Julie sits there, smiles very, very pleasantly, and she seems very relaxed. And she just sits there and smiles, looks between the two of them. She again fiddles with something in her hands. And, yeah, she will just, as Rebecca begins to approach whenever that is, she's, like, you will hear that she's just, at some point, she just closes her ears, and you could swear that she's humming, like, a melody or something. It's somewhat monotone, but you can't pick out more than that.
Rebecca comes stepping back. Sits down.
And as she comes back, I will roll once more. I am trying to activate... Oh, that's too many.
Oh no.
God. This is going to end badly, I know it. Wow, I actually succeed after a while. After Rebecca has sat down, Julie will just sit there and just, hum away. And at some point, she will just open her eyes, and she has activated Spirit Sight. And I can come with a fairly educated guess about what Cammy might look like in Spirit Sight, but what does a hunter look like? That is the question.
Is there a spiritual component to hunters? Because
I don't think so. I'm not sure.
You see werewolves because they are part spirit. I'm not sure if you would see a hunter at all. Or anything special, rather. You still see them.
Yeah, I'm glancing at the dock now. But I'm not. It doesn't say anything in regards to that. For detection purposes, the only way to really, the only thing that actually shows anything is with Prime Sight. So I'm gonna rule that she just looks like a human.
All right, I'm going to roll manipulation plus. It's not many dice because Julie has not a lot of dice in anything really. Manipulation subterfuge, because that's just the way she is. She actually has success, which is surprising, but yeah, when she opens her eyes and she has this smile on her face, she looks over at you, and then as soon as her eyes just climb over to Cammy, she sees a wolf.
I don't think you would see a wolf. You might see some of or she doesn't even have spirit heritage. I think the only thing that might come up as apparently spiritual would be the bag that she's got slung over her shoulder might have a have a resonance.
With Garo and Spirit Sight, you do see essentially they're like wolf nature.
I think that has been ruled before.
Yeah, we've done exactly that before.
I think Abba saw like 2 werewolves, and she saw their wolf form.
Okay.
Spirit Sight. That's why I'm rolling manipulation empathy, because
werewolves obviously are like part spirit, and I think you see that aspect of them all. Yeah.
Rebecca, like, Julie doesn't fly out of her seat or like fall on the ground by tripping like backwards. But she does like look somewhat like Rebecca, you can clearly say like, what? There's like
Mhm.
she just got like, yeah, you can both see that. She like just got like spooked by something. At difficulty 4? Wow. Okay. That's wow. Okay. And yeah, like Julie just says like, all right, yeah, Rebecca, like yeah, I'll talk to you again soon. I think yeah, I think we need to be moving on. Like we've got some other stuff to see. And yeah, you can both see that she's not like "Ah," but she just packs up her things and just
Sorry, can you repeat that? She's not like what?
she's not freaking out, but like it's like, yeah, I should really be going. And she looks at Anna and just goes, "So are you coming, or you can take the rest to go?"
Nausicaa just kind of looks up slightly, looks slightly distressed that she's been dragged away from her feast. And but yeah, she certainly doesn't want to be left here with these two people. And she'll just shrug. Sure. And yeah, pick up her food and totter off with it. She doesn't even say goodbye or anything to the two people. She just leaves.
As Rebecca is just left here with the werewolf, she watches Julie with a certain sense of sympathy that's fairly muted. Expression is friendly and perplexed. She says, "Well, have a good rest of your day. It was good to see you again."
Yeah. I'll talk to you later. And she just waves her phone, like she'll call you or something.
That would be great. I would appreciate it if you would.
As the two begin to get out of earshot, just looks at Ava God, Anna, and she just says, "That Cammy girl, she is fucking. You know how to look for like things from other worlds and stuff?
No.
I'm quite sure she was one of those wolf things."
The bars told us about?
Yeah. I was curious about Rebecca, but I didn't see anything about her. But the other girl, like it was like a fucking. That was what Ava said, like at the thing at the charity thing, where the torque was presented.
I remember.
Yeah, it looks like a fucking monster. Like,
That's why you shouldn't hug people. Some of them are monsters.
come on, like that. Like where I come from, that's totally normal. Just like it's just a hug. Like, I didn't. Like, all right, let's just let's go. Let's get home, and the two will begin to leave.
Nausicaa looks back at them for one last time. Just kind of squints. Obviously doesn't actually see anything. And then shrugs. And will, walk out with her. Actually, no, she'll go to the gift shop briefly and buy all manner of trinkets and toys and then walk out. And, we'll leave.
And
Good Hunter and the Werewolf.
she'll look over at Rebecca as she finishes the last spoonful of ice cream and the last of the cheese Danish, sort of in tandem or together. And then she wipes off her mouth and looks over at Rebecca with a smile.
Rebecca is watching after this very sudden and not at all subtle departure with a very difficult to read expression. And when Cammy looks her way, she meets her eye and kind of gives her the same look like, I just don't know about this world. That kind of look. And then she smiles and puts her laptop away.
Cammy eyes the laptop and then smiles back at Rebecca. You feel like going for a walk?
Absolutely.
And
I'd love
she'll grab up the last pastry off the tray and stand up. And I think that is where we can end our scene.
Thank you very much, players, for playing and watchers for watching. Good night.